I'll just retweet it.
Okay.
That makes sense, right?
It's a different link, but yeah.
Oh, is it really a different link?
Yeah. Should be.
Oh, well then, I'm not gonna retweet it. What's the point of that? It was just stuck on my.
All right, guys. Let me know if it's better. Audio better? Audio and video better. Is it better, guys? Let me know. Chat, let me know.
It says we're live now, but it's the old
It's
stream.
still laggy? Are you kidding? That's not good. It says that there's no drop frames, so... we might have to just do it, and then they'll have to hear us through audio.
I mean, I'm cool with whatever. No one can ever see my screen anyway, so it's more or less just them being able to see what you got going on. You know what I mean? But for me right now, I can't even see.
Some people are saying it's good. Other people are saying it's not.
I'll be able to tell you when I pull mine up.
It's just a video that's lagging. I mean, as long as they can hear us.
Yeah, you're lagging pretty bad. Yeah, it's still lagging.
Okay, well, I can't do anything about it right now unless I go do some stuff.
Just pray that it doesn't freeze on us doing anything stupid like mid-sneeze or mouth open or, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to fix stuff right here, but I mean, we might just have to roll with it. All right, let's just roll with it, guys. If you're experiencing lagginess, I'm sorry. We will. I mean, the main point is if you guys hear us, right? So, stream is trash. It is horrible. It's frozen. All right, well, maybe I don't want to do this then.
No, that he doesn't care. That's Devo.
Great. I mean, it says everything's fine.
Let's just go. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So, guys, it looks like you're just going to have to bear with us here and listen to the audio. We're going to have to get the connection fixed. It says that there's nothing wrong on my stream, so I do apologize. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the slate. So, no announcements today. Let's just go ahead and jump headfirst into this thing because there's obviously a lot of injury, or not injury news. There's a lot of trade news that's come out that's kind of shaken up a few things. Not as much as I thought there would be. And there's a lot of questions that we've gotten. I'm kind of all over the place with pay up options and stuff like that. So we're going to have to kind of just sit back, decipher this. And I'm not going to lie, guys. It's a pretty tough slate to go over. So, TJ, what are your thoughts on this slate? Like, where do you want to start? Where's the chalk in this thing?
To be honest, I feel like it's going to be so spread out tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some pretty obvious plays. But besides that, like you just mentioned, those pay-up spots, it's really tough to try and figure out where you want to go. Because, I mean, we have a lot of good games. We got the Pelicans in Chicago at a 230 over-under. We got the Bucks in Philly, which could be a competitive game at 227. We got Portland and San Antonio at 228 over under. And then, I mean, we have what I think is going to be the game that I think I want to target the most, either this or that Pelicans and Chicago game, Houston at LA, with a 238.5 over under. And that over under actually came out at 234. It's risen 4.5 points, and it's 75% on the over. So people are hammering this over, and it's adjusting accordingly because that's where all the money's going to. So I expect a really high-paced scoring game in that Lakers-Rockets game. So
Yeah.
I kind of think that's where I want to pay up for my studs tonight, and then maybe grab some value from that Bulls-Pelicans game.
Yeah,
Oh, video's working. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't gonna interrupt you. Awesome.
Interrupt me.
So, yeah, so let's. I want to talk about the injuries first. Let's go ahead and talk about Chicago. Let's start there because I feel like that presents the most value. So, if we take a look at Chicago here, Chicago's without Dunn, Markkanen, Porter, Carter, and then they have some other guys here. Gafford is doubtful. Yep. Satoransky's still probable. Valentine's doubtful. So I took all those guys off the court, and to me, it looks like Hutchinson's going to be the most straightforward value play on the slate. Looks like he's going to be one of the highest or higher owned guys. Was actually not that bad, 23%. So in a great matchup, I do like Hutchinson tonight at 31 minutes. Looking at Kobe White and Cornette, really there's a split here. 25, well, never mind. I didn't mean a split. Kobe White here, 25 minutes, 6 value on our sheet here. Again, 25 minutes at 3.8 doesn't scare me too bad with them being in a pace-up spot against the Pelicans. Cornette also 5.9 value on their sheet. Thaddeus Young, not a bad play. Again, these are all pace-up spots for Chicago. Zach LaVine's going to probably be decently owned just because he is 8.4. His price tag finally started going down there. It's a pace-up spot, so 5.6 for Zach LaVine. Pretty much all these guys are decent plays, even Satoransky here at 32 minutes. TJ, what are your thoughts on the Bulls? I feel like all these plays, you really can't go wrong. I mean, I can't argue with any of these plays. I think Hutchinson by far is the best on this team.
Yeah, I agree. Hutchinson's going to be a cash lock for me tonight. I really like him, especially that he's starting in this up-paced game. The Pelicans are actually, they rank the third fastest in pace so far this year, and they've actually played at a faster pace since they've had Zion. It's actually gone up like 1.8 points total in the 7 games Zion's played, which is kind of interesting. You thought maybe Zion would slow him down a little bit because that big chunky boy trying to get up and down the court, but he's been good, and they've picked up the pace a little bit, which is pretty impressive. And they're actually the third fastest road team in terms of pace too. So I expect them to try and push the pace against this Bulls team. So I definitely like Hutchinson as a cash lock for me tonight at 4,300. I also really like Kobe White. I don't necessarily think he's a cash lock for me, but I'm like 95% sure that he'll end up in my lineup. Like you said, he rates out really well on our sheet. He is a 0.89 fantasy point per minute. Hutchinson is a 0.99 fantasy point per minute. They have low tags at 3,800 for Kobe White and then 4,300 for Hutchinson. In a slate that I think you're going to want to try and do stars and scrubs because there's so many spots that you can pay up for tonight. So I think that's kind of where I am leaning right now. I really like Satoransky too, especially against these Pelican guards. So I have a lineup right now that has 3 of them in. So I have 2 cash lineups built right now that I'm currently trying to tinker with. 2 of them are in one of them, and then 3 of them are in my other. So I'm trying to figure out if I want 2 of these Bulls or 3. Actually, I'm sorry, and I completely forgot Zach LaVine is a person at 8,400. Yeah, Zach LaVine is also, I completely just blanked. Zach LaVine is a cash lock for me tonight at 8,400 in this game against the Pelicans. So
good matchup too.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. I have 3 lineups. I mean, I have 2 lineups, 3 Bulls in one, 4 in the other. So I'm trying to tinker and figure out what road I want to go with. But yeah, I really like LaVine. Thad Young too at 5,500. You land on him, I don't hate it. I don't necessarily think he's a cash play for me, but for GPPs for sure. Hutchinson a lock. I really like Kobe White. I think he could be a cash lock. And then Satoransky too as a last piece I don't hate.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think if you're looking for value, I think your safest bet is going to be here just because of the high over-under, and these guys are slightly underpriced here. Obviously, there's going to be some more value here in the Knicks, but I think if you're looking for safe value with upside, I think Chicago's the team that you're going to target tonight. I think you're going to start here for some of your building blocks for sure. Let's go ahead and flip over to the Pelicans because they're actually pretty interesting too. I think there's some hidden value here. Again, like I can't keep saying this enough. Brandon Ingram as a GPP option coming in at 17%, 5.8 on their sheet. Again, this is going to be an average to pace up spot for the Pelicans. So again, Brandon Ingram is kind of funny. I was looking at the court IQ. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson now are the exact same fantasy point per minute output, 1.25. So if you're looking at that exact stat, Ingram's going to be the slightly better option just because he's playing more minutes. I know Zion is not going to have a minute restriction anymore. If that does mean 32 minutes, then obviously I'm going to prefer Ingram, and especially if Zion Williamson's going to get that extra percentage ownership. But I still don't think Williamson's a bad play. I just like Ingram a little bit more based on stats. Again, anything can really happen. Zion actually draws a better matchup down low with Chicago, so should dominate with rebounds. Again, I can say the same thing for Favors, but obviously has regressed a lot since Zion has been back. So Favors also does rate well on their sheet. Again, strictly GPP. Do not go wild, but Favors going to be slightly overweight probably on him. Lonzo Ball and then Drew Holiday are also GPP options here at 7 and 10%. Don't rate too bad on their sheet, but I'm not huge on them. I'm definitely a fan of Ingram again tonight for GPPs only. What do you think?
I think that when it comes to these Pelicans, I think Ingram is cash viable at 7,600. I'd rather play him over Zion just because, like you said, the minutes are there. I think Zion obviously has a great matchup against these Bulls bigs. So, but for me, I think he's going to be more of a GPP play. Favors, like you said, yeah, he's regressed a lot since Zion's come back. I really love this matchup against these Bulls bigs, though. So I'm definitely going to have Favors in GPPs. I might be a little bit overweight on him, unfortunately. Just try and take a chance and hopefully, I think he comes in at pretty low ownership just because, based off last game, he was actually pretty chalky and let a lot of people down. So I expect him to not carry as much ownership. So I'll definitely take some chances on him at 5K just solely because of this matchup. But yeah, I can't tell if Ingram's going to carry a lot of ownership or not when it comes to cash. So
I'll tell you this about Ingram. I think this was a slate where you were playing volleyball. Sorry. He came in at 23% when he was 7.1K. So the 17% ownership really, I think that's pretty accurate, which is still undervalued, or it's still crazy low for me. But yeah, I will say that.
Yeah, I think that's too low of a percentage. So I'm trying to figure out if he's going to fit my cash build or not. One of the lineups, like I said, I'm tinkering between two. One has and one doesn't. But I definitely think he is cash viable, and I would rather play him over Zion. But I'm kind of confused as to the whole Zion won't be on a minute restriction thing because he played 32 and 33 minutes the last two games. So if he's not at a minute restriction, does that mean his threshold is 35? Will he get a couple minutes? So I think that's an interesting tidbit to take into consideration. So because if he gets the minutes that Ingram's playing, I kind of consider them pretty even.
And Zion, again, I mean, if he's going down low against the Chicago Bigs, there's that too.
Definitely a good matchup for him. So that's the one thing that I thought was interesting with the whole minute restriction thing with Zion. Because like I said, he's played the last two games, he's played 32 and 33 minutes. So does that mean he'll get Ingram minutes at 35, 36? I don't know. It's yet to be seen. So we're going to have to kind of see what happens. I'll just assume he's getting 32 as that's probably where he'll be. If he gets 34, 35, I won't be surprised.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be putting Ingram in cash. So Gafford and Valentine did just get ruled out. They were both doubtful, so that's good. Yeah, but I definitely think Ingram's cash viable, and I like Zion as a GPP play. If you land on him in cash, it's obviously fine. And then Favors for sure a GPP play, but somebody I'll take some stabs on.
Yeah, I completely agree. Guys, I just want to take a second. If this is your first time to the stream, please do hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification bell. Let us guide you to the promised land, right? Okay, so we do this every single night. We break down all of the injury news and trade news now. It's definitely, with DraftKings, it's definitely the better site to play on nights like tonight where you just don't know what's going to happen. But let us just teach you everything that we know about usage rates and rotations, and we'll help give you an edge on the field, guys. I promise you. Yeah, so I think that's it with the Pelicans. I want to move on to the Knicks because I feel like the Knicks are tricky with all these random players getting. There's Harkless now on the roster. Obviously, he's not playing. Who got traded from them? Marcus Morris. That's who it was. We take Morris, Dotson, and Trier off the court, and it tends to shake up things a little bit here. Actually, Reggie Bullock's minutes went up just a tad. I think it went from 27 to 28, so I have to readjust him. But Bullock at 28 minutes, Knox went up too, dude. I have to recalculate him. As bad as he sucked. The only thing with the Knicks is they're playing in a pace down spot. I don't hate the Knicks and GPPs. I really don't. But if Knox is really coming in at 23%, that's scary. If he's playing 26 minutes, I don't know what to think about these guys. Of course, Randall gets a slight usage bump here. 5.4 on our sheet against Orlando. Not that good of a matchup against Vooch. But again, if you want to start him in GPPs, he did get that usage boost. Bullock, Knox, and Randall top the list for me. What are your thoughts on these three guys?
I don't know, because RJ Barrett, which is projected at 28, now he's low 20s. It's is he good to go or not? He is good to go. Wait, is he coming off the bench?
Who?
RJ Barrett. What's going on with RJ Barrett?
RJ Barrett is projected. Where is he? Oh, yeah, 21 minutes? Yeah, that's weird. I guess
Yeah,
he is.
so I don't know if he's coming off the bench or not, if he is playing, because obviously he's been sitting out for a while. So, like, I don't know what his plan is, if he's going to be on a minute restriction or what have you. But right now, the projected lineup is Peyton, Bullock, Knox, Randall, and Taj Gibson. I hate this game just because that over-under, like, Orlando on a back-to-back. Obviously, Marcus Morris is gone, which is good for value in terms of the Knicks. And unfortunately, like, if you do roster somebody like Knox or Bullock, it's going to allow you to get somebody like LeBron or AD tonight. So it's tough to say what's going to happen with the Knicks starting lineup. And I think that's probably going to decide, if I do roster Bullock or Knox or both, or neither or none of them. Yeah, if those minutes are there for them and they're 3,500 and 3,100 respectively, and like I said, if that's going to allow me to roster Ingram, LeBron, Levine, AD, like that's something that I'm definitely going to have to take into consideration because that's something I want to try and do tonight. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave my Knicks comments and wait for the starting lineup. They're the first game, thankfully, so we'll know that before anything else. So once we get the released lineup for the Knicks, that's when I'll be able to know like what direction I'll really be going in terms of Bullock and Knox. But yeah, I like Randall as a GPP play, but not for cash.
It's really tough because these guys are bottom of the barrel price tags too, and they both average 0.82 fantasy points per minute. Literally, both of them do. So, I mean, if you're asking me which one I prefer, I'm going to take the guy with higher minutes. So, like you said, it's going to depend on the rotations. Like, obviously, if Knox is in there, I'm going to be overweight on Knox. Same thing with Bullock if he's in the starting lineup. So, yeah, I mean, they're in bad matchups. They're bottom of the barrel. I mean, I don't love them. I don't hate them. So, we'll have to wait for the starting lineups. That's all I'll say about it. Yeah. Let's go ahead and move over to Portland, San Antonio, because that over-under actually intrigues me a little bit too. So can we jump over to Portland? Portland they just traded Scal away. They're without Bazemore, obviously. He's been traded away. They have a couple more injuries. And with that being said, Lillard is still the man. He's still averaging 1.5 fantasy points per minute with those injuries off the court at 37 minutes against San Antonio in the pace-up spot. Do you believe he's going to have another good shooting night like he's been? Or do you think he's in a good position too?
Yeah, I think the Denver game that he had was tough on the road in Denver. Back at home now against the Spurs. Spurs actually are playing at a pretty reasonable pace this year. They're actually ranked 11th in terms of pace on the road. So I definitely like this matchup for Dame. I don't know if he's going to go bananas again, but I'll definitely have exposure to him in GPPs. I don't think he's a cash play for me tonight, but I definitely don't hate him at the 10K price tag. And then I really like Ariza at 4,300. His price dipped pretty significantly. So if he's getting those 32, 34 minutes, then I definitely like him as a GPP play as well. Last two games, he hasn't played as many minutes, which is kind of concerning. But if he does, in fact, if he can get those, mid to low 30s, then I definitely like him as a punt GPP play tonight.
I do like Ariza again tonight, 4.3. I agree with everything you just said. Did you just talk about Whiteside? I was reading some comments.
No, I didn't. I think Whiteside's definitely viable for cash, but I just don't think with the builds that I'm looking to go, I just don't think I'll be able to squeeze him in. And I don't think he's going to carry as much ownership as some of the guys that we'll talk about in a little bit. So, at 8K, definitely a good spot for him. Yeah, I should have mentioned him, but I definitely think he is cash viable if you land on him, but I definitely like him for GPPs. It's a nice matchup for him. Yeah,
GPP viable. He's actually coming at 34%. So that's actually a bit high. I don't know where my percentage ownership I don't know where I'll stand on him in GPPs, but I think he's definitely cash viable at this point, just with the Spurs down low. So Ariza, Whiteside, Lillard are the only guys that I'm really interested in. Are you taking a stance on McCollum at all, or are you going to fade him?
Yeah, I'll probably fade him. Okay. And I'll definitely fade Melo. So
okay, then let's go ahead and talk about the Spurs. So the Spurs,
now they're both going to snap, and then the other three aren't going to do anything. Yeah, let's talk about your Spurs, man, and your guy, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, so I made him my thumbnail because I feel like that was the safest option because at this point, anybody I make my thumbnail, they get injured. So let's talk about LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't think he'll get rolled out. I don't think he'll get traded.
Fade LaMarcus Aldridge. LMA, fade him.
So LaMarcus Aldridge has regressed a bit. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan has been the focal point of this offense. This is going to be an average spot for the Spurs. on the road against Portland. I think LaMarcus Aldridge, just because of his ownership, I think he has to be in your cash lineup. I'm not actually a fan of LaMarcus Aldridge tonight. I'm really not. I don't think there's that much upside with him. Averaging what, 1.1? I don't have my stats in front of me. 1.1 fantasy points per minute, or is it lower now?
I think it was like 1.12. I have it right here. Hold on. 1.1.
Okay. I don't hate LaMarcus Aldridge for cash. I just, for GPPs, I just don't see there being much upside there. Again, it's just tough with these guys. I mean, as you know, the Spurs, just like the Celtics, there's a guy that steps up every single night. It's either DeRozan or Aldridge or Murray, and you don't know which one you're going to take a stab at. So as far as that goes, like, if I'm going to go overweight on somebody, it's going to be like DeJounte Murray at 6% here. Like, obviously, that's going to be more of a GPP option. DeRozan here, 7.9. Like, I'm thinking GPP here. I'm not talking cash. Cash, start LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, he's going to have really high ownership, 38%. But other than that, I'm not looking for anybody else outside of these three guys. I don't know if you think the same thing, TJ.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you're going to need Aldridge tonight in cash. I think he's going to carry a pretty high amount of ownership percentage at 6,500. A lot of people are throwing out the whole narrative of him playing against Portland, his old team. Like, that was so long ago that he played on Portland, so I don't necessarily think that narrative is necessarily in play. But if you like it, then I'm all for it. I'm a big narratives guy. So, averages 1.1 fantasy points per minute. Rates out pretty decent on our sheet. The best Spur, he rates out the best in terms of Spurs on our sheet. Yeah. So I just think this game should be pretty competitive. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough to get away from him when it comes to cash. He fits a lot of builds. He's the mid-tier guy that I'm looking to roster tonight. Hasn't been playing well as of late. Missed a couple games, and I feel like he just hasn't found his groove. He had a really good game against the Clippers, but stunk against the Lakers on that back-to-back. So I think he carries probably 50% ownership in cash, maybe more. So I think
more than that.
Yeah, I think he's 50 or more. Yeah, so I definitely think he's a cash lock tonight.
Yeah, definitely for cash. Again, it'd be interesting to see where my ownership kind of lies for him as I start building these guys. Again, I'll update that on my Patreon page for you guys that are following me. Let's who didn't we touch base on? Oh yeah, Houston and Philly. So
let's go to Philly.
Okay,
Philly Bucks game.
Okay, that's fine. We have 30 minutes left. We have plenty of time.
And then we got to touch base on Orlando too.
Okay. All right. So Philly. So we have Giannis, which is now gone.
Who?
And Giannis is now gone. Ennis. Yeah, it's Giannis.
I thought you were trying to pronounce Giannis.
No. So Giannis is gone.
Choked on my water.
So he's gone, and then also Richardson is gone. Simmons gets a bump. It's weird because I talked about this in Discord. Simmons gets a huge bump. Embiid gets a decrease in usage. Same thing with Tobias Harris, and Horford gets a very big decrease with his usage. So it was weird. It was weird looking at that picture. Simmons gets the biggest boost. I feel like Simmons is actually going to go overlooked in a lot of these contests. 8.1, again, this should be a competitive contest against Milwaukee. What are your thoughts on Philadelphia?
So yeah, I think I feel like both of them. I feel like they have a couple guys in good spots. Like, I expect Embiid and Giannis to absolutely battle down low. In the 3 games that they have, I think it was this year, the last 3 times they've played, they've both gone bananas against each other. So, I definitely like Embiid and Giannis in terms of, GPPs. Simmons is definitely interesting, and he's a guy that I was trying to figure out if I want him or Ingram. I definitely think he's in a good spot at 8,100. That price tag is super low. In a game that they're going to need scoring, and they're going to need him to be aggressive in order to stay close to this Bucks team, especially the Bucks at home are just an absolute machine. So that's kind of scary. Like, I know this game, it shows a 9-point spread, but like the Bucks at home, they could easily just run this team over. Philly is not playing good lately.
No.
But like you said, how'd you pronounce his name? James Ennis's name? Ennis, okay. Ennis is gone. Josh Richardson obviously still out. I don't necessarily think any of these guys are cash plays, but like if you land on Embiid for cash or Simmons, I definitely don't hate it because I do like both of them. I would just rather get some Lakers instead. So yeah, but they're going to need Embiid and Simmons to be very aggressive tonight in order to stay competitive against the Bucks, and that's just kind of what I'm thinking. If I'm taking 2 guys from this game, I'm paying up for Embiid or I'm paying up for Simmons.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Harris is also super cheap at 6'6", but it hasn't been shooting the ball lately.
Well,
He's shooting the ball well lately, so
he gets what, 0.92 fantasy points per minute. Is that what it was on our sheet?
yeah, it takes a yeah.
I don't know why that is. I mean, it's just weird, and because it's a huge sample size.
Yeah, some guys are just not as productive as when some people are on and off the court.
Yeah, I think Simmons ends up being a good GPP option, though. I will say that. I mean, coming in at 5.9 on our sheet, 8.1K, again, like you said, has to keep up with these bigs. He's obviously going to have to be on the court a lot to contest with these big guys, even down low, too. So 8.1K, not a bad price tag for Simmons. I can get behind that for GPPs. Let's go over to, you said Orlando, right?
Yeah, let's touch base on Orlando. Well, let's just do the Bucks.
Okay.
Right? Stay at this
That's
game,
fine.
And then we went to the Knicks, but we didn't touch Orlando. So
now, I have Roto here inflating like all these guys' numbers. Everything that I was calculating for this team, it was kind of lower. So who are you looking at from this team?
Giannis,
not Giannis. Giannis, got
not
it.
Giannis.
Got it.
Giannis. I can't find it now. I had the last couple games that they played against Philly, and Giannis, I think it was 2 of them. He just went absolutely bananas. I think he had 2 triple doubles. So I know he loves to battle when him and Embiid go up against one another. Guys I'll definitely take stabs on in GPPs are Chris Middleton and Bledsoe at their price tags in a game that could be competitive. Like I said, if Philly comes out and they're aggressive and they try and set the tone early on the road, this game could be close. It is tough to say with the Bucks. So I'll definitely have overexposure to Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe. Yeah, in cash, I think Giannis is cash viable. I'm not going to go there tonight, but I definitely like him for GPPs, and I'm probably just going to have overexposure to Giannis, Middleton, and Bledsoe.
Yeah, their price tags are very interesting.
Middleton is pretty cheap.
I feel like the 118 Philly. If I was a bet man, I feel like it could go over those. I feel like it could go over those. The implied total. I don't know. It's definitely gonna be a competitive game. I think it's definitely gonna be a physical and competitive game. So there's gonna be a lot of rebounds, a lot of driving. So that definitely favors somebody like Giannis, for sure. One more team, right, or one more game. Does that in Houston? You want to go to Orlando? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. Over the place.
You trying to multitask over there?
I'm reading the chat. That's what it is.
That's what it is. All right, don't read. I'll read the chat. I'll monitor that, and then you focus on.
So Michael Carter Williams at 22 minutes. Yeah, but he went down. So I just want to mention that in minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
So he rates pretty well on our sheet. Are you taking a stab at any of these guys in cash or no?
So I was on the fence about Michael Carter Williams in cash, but now I kind of think I'm going to wait and see what happens with these Knicks and who actually starts. If Bullock and Knox start, I'll probably go there instead because I feel like they'll get more minutes than Michael Carter Williams will off the bench. But he's been awesome last night. He was really good against the Celtics last night. He was super efficient. He only took 5 shots and still managed to get 31 fantasy points. He's played 20-plus minutes in the last 5 games, so I expect him to do the same tonight, even off a back-to-back against a bad Knicks team. So yeah, I definitely will have stabs at Michael Carter Williams at 3.9. I also will have stabs of Aaron Gordon tonight. The Knicks do not rate out well against versatile forwards. They're actually last in the league, so that's definitely somebody that I want to target tonight in GPPs and be overweight on. He's showing at 5% ownership right now, so I'll definitely be overweight on him, especially with Marcus Morris gone. I'm assuming that's who he probably would have matched up with at the 3. So something to take note of is Aaron Gordon. I like him as a GPP play. So RJ Barrett is available to play Thursday. I wonder if he's on a minute restriction.
Probably will be.
So yeah, I definitely will have GPP exposure to Michael Carter Williams. I don't know if he makes my cash build, but if you do land on him, I definitely don't hate it. But like I said, I'd rather see what happens with Bullock and Knox and see if they're starting because I think that's better value. And I'll definitely be overexposed to Aaron Gordon.
You didn't mention Fournier. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in him tonight.
You don't have any?
Yeah, Frank's starting.
Now he's showing a little bit over-owned here, 21% in GPPs, 0.97 fantasy points per minute, comes in at 5.6, or comes in at 5.7 on our sheet, 5.6K. I don't mind him for GPPs. He's actually in showing the highest smash spot here on Roto, so Evan Fournier, I'll probably have a decent amount of ownership to him too. Again, that 5.6 price tag is very intriguing for somebody like him. But he hasn't been shooting
Yeah,
well.
no, I always like Fournier. That was a lie. So Bullock is starting.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so that makes me like Bullock more. Let's see if the
Frank is
minutes
starting
update.
though, so that's interesting.
Frank is.
Yeah.
Seriously. All
Mhm.
right, so we have to wait for the minutes update for that. I feel like they will pretty shortly. You guys will get the update. Don't worry about that. We still have about 20 minutes left on stream. I'm gonna move over to Houston Lakers because there's gonna be a lot of questions about these guys.
Yeah.
So with Houston, I got a lot of questions on this. You guys don't like the 12.4 price tag of James Harden apparently. So guys, Capella's off the team now completely. So if Harden's price tag's below 14K, he's a viable option. He's still coming out to 1.83 fantasy points per minute, even with Westbrook back. So 37 minutes playing against the Lakers is going to be a competitive game. I'm not off Harden whatsoever. He's showing it at 9% ownership. Are you serious? I like Harden tonight. I like him for GPPs. Might not be cash viable. Westbrook, also not a bad GPP option. Of course, everybody else's price tags are absolutely just insane for this team. But Harden and Westbrook, what are your takes on that, TJ?
So that was the only team I hadn't run values for, and
Okay.
I completely forgot that I didn't, just because I was waiting to see if Westbrook was sitting tonight or tomorrow. I assumed that he was going to play tonight.
5.5 on the sheet for Harden.
Yeah, so I feel like if I definitely don't hate both of them for GPPs. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. So like I alluded to earlier, this spread opened up at 234. It is now at 238.5. So I definitely think that's something that is very interesting. So we could see a 240 over under at tip if it keeps going this way. I mean, it's the late game, so there's still 4 hours to bet on it. Yeah, I definitely think if I'm taking anybody from Houston, it's going to be James Harden or Westbrook in terms of GPPs. I don't think I'm going to land on either of these guys in cash. And I'll probably take some stabs at Robert Covington just to do it. He wasn't even available to pick from earlier in the day.
Now he is, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume he is now. Yeah, at 6,100. I'll definitely take some stabs at him for sure. I feel like they're going to try and get him acclimated as quickly as possible, and a pretty good game to do it against the Lakers. So probably we'll see. I mean, they haven't projected 30 minutes. I would just assume that he kind of sits in the corner and chucks up some threes. And I expect him to match up with AD tonight. So they're definitely going to need him. That's for sure, because they're not going to have anybody else to match AD. So I expect Covington to probably play more than 30 minutes. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble defending AD. So I'll definitely have some stabs at him at 6-1. But yeah, I definitely think I would assume I'd rather play Harden over Russ, even though there's that 2.2K price difference. But I'll have exposure to both of those guys. In
Yeah,
GPPs.
absolutely. I think they're very viable options. I mean, we're completely ignoring the fact that Capella's gone, and that's what really set off Harden when he scored that 75, or he had that 75 DK point game not too long ago. It was just without Capella. Westbrook was still there. The last game was without Westbrook, and he scored 79. So, I mean, people are forgetting that Westbrook wasn't in the picture 2 games ago, and he still went ballistic. He's still a great basketball player without Capella. So, with that being said, Harden and Westbrook, GPP options. Very viable GPP options, especially if Harden's only coming in at 9%. Last but not least, I think these guys are going to be the chalk pay-up options. 122, and they're studs. They're undervalued. Who do you like more, or do you like them the same?
I like them the same. I want
Okay.
both of them if I can. Yeah, I definitely think for cash tonight, my objective is to try and get LeBron and AD. I like the spot for both of them. I know a lot of people were asking who's going to cover AD. I assume he matches up with Covington. That's still a really tough. Covington's a very good defender, but that's still a really tough matchup for AD. He's given up like 3 or 4 inches. So it won't be PJ Tucker on stilts trying to cover AD. It will be Robert Covington. And that's why I kind of like Covington in terms of GPPs, because I kind of feel like I said, they're going to need him. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and match him with AD for as much of the game as they can. Just tell him, that they're not going to have any plays set for Covington offensively, but on defense, just go try and mark AD and see what you can do. And
Yeah.
I think they're going to need him tonight. So, but I still like AD in that matchup against Houston. I think it's a really good spot for him. So, this is my issue in terms of cash. It's like, do you want to get LeBron and AD? Or you have to choose between the two, which I do not want to do, because more often than not, I'll probably choose the wrong guy, and then I'll just be sitting on the couch texting you about how much I'll just how I will act. So,
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. I can't swear on stream. Yeah, I want to do my best to roster LeBron and AD in cash, but like I said, if you have to make a hard stance and only roster one, I think that opens up the possibility of getting guys like Levine, Ingram, Aldridge, and then if you get LeBron or AD, it might allow you to get somebody a little cheaper like Ben Simmons. So, and then you have the cheap value with one of those Knicks starters, maybe Bullock, and then those cheap Chicago guys. So it's definitely tough to try and figure out. So I'm just going to do my best to roster LeBron and AD, especially in an up-paced game against Houston and what I think should be the highest over-under, which is the highest over-under, but I think should have the highest scoring game. That's kind of where my head's at is, don't pick between them, get them both.
Yeah, I think these guys by far are going to be the most highest owned pay up options, which makes, and this is why I said that people like Harden, Giannis, Lillard are great GPP options because you already know one of the two, AD or LeBron's going to go off. You just don't know which one it's going to be. The other guy's probably going to fall by the wayside, and then somebody like Lillard in that same price tag range is going to snap, right? And then he ends up being a good GPP option. So that's my thought on these two. I mean, you take a pick, guys, on whoever's going to do best. Obviously, AD's in a better spot, but again, like LeBron is LeBron. It's Houston. He's going to want to show off. It's prime time. So, and then we have people like Caldwell Pope, obviously GPP vibe. All these shooters are GPP vibe. I just feel like they're all the same. Just low usage, just shooters. Pope, Danny Green. I guess you could say that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, if I'm taking a shooter, I'm taking Danny Green.
Yeah. I'd probably take Danny Green too. I was looking at the price tags, and then like Avery Bradley could say the exact same thing. All these guys are GPP options. I'm not saying they're bad options, but they just carry no usage. They're literally just shooters. All the usage on this team is obviously with the two studs. So, So I think that covers pretty much we covered every single team. So
yeah,
let's go ahead and just step back a little bit, talk about the slate, and then answer questions too. Go ahead. Bless you. Bless you.
Excuse me. One other guy I want to talk about is just Rondo, primetime game. I
mean, that too. I completely forgot.
I will never not play that narrative of Rondo in a primetime TNT game. So I'll definitely have some stabs at him in GPP. But I think him and Danny Green are guys that I'm going to want to try and target in terms of GPP and be a little bit overweight. And like I said, it's very tough to try and figure out if you want to have both LeBron and AD or choose between one of them. So like I said, for cash, I'm probably going to try and get both. If I don't get both, I think I'll go AD. But like I said, I kind of want to try it. I feel like they haven't really had a game in a while where both of them have been like completely excelled. You know what I mean? And like Westbrook and Harden can do, where they can both go for 55 DraftKings points and above. I haven't seen that lately with LeBron and AD. I feel like it's just one of them going off and the other one kind of just hitting value maybe a little bit less. So, but yeah, I definitely like this spot for them.
Real quick, because I saw this question earlier in the chat as I was reading and getting distracted by you guys. Just for everybody that has been watching my tutorials and the Patreon, the Patreon people, guys, overweight means, if you just take a look at my screen here, if you look at the top here, Hutchinson, obviously I'm not going to have 97% of Hutchinson, but 97 compared to percentage ownership on the right here, that means I'm overweight. Matching, if you look down here at somebody like Whiteside, I have 38% and 33% is what the field has. That's pretty close. That's called matching. And then underweight is when somebody is higher owned than what I have. So Thaddeus Young, 22% the field has, and I have 15%. That means I'm underweight on Thaddeus. If I'm overweight on somebody, I really like him. If I match, I'm like, could go either way. If I'm underweight, I don't like him. So just for that terminology, I throw it around a lot on my videos and stuff. So just want you guys to be aware of that. All right, so I crunched some numbers just to kind of recap here. So the Knicks, do we know what's going on with the Knicks minutes?
There's nothing on RJ Barrett.
Bullock went up to 28 and Knox went down 22. Okay, so that will change things up.
Yeah, I thought that Barrett playing will obviously affect Knox, I think, more than Bullock. But who's to say? Frank is now looking at 24 minutes.
24, okay, but he sucks. Hold on, let me see what his minutes are.
I'm going to avoid him.
6, yeah. No, 24 minutes. No.
I think if I'm taking anybody, it's going to be Reggie Bullock.
Yep, I agree.
That would probably be my guy. That would probably be my cash play from the Knicks team. If I can have a lineup where I avoid this game as a whole, like I'm really cool with that. But you need value somewhere, unfortunately, tonight. So it might be Reggie Bullock and then a couple of those Chicago guys.
What's your core cash? If somebody's asking, I know we haven't really been over that yet.
My core cash as of now would probably be Hutchinson, Levine, Aldridge, and I would say Kobe White. I think those would be my 4 right now. And then that gives you a lot of flexibility to spend up for guys like LeBron, for guys like AD, Ingram, Ben Simmons. If you'd rather go Giannis or Dame, that's fine. But I think that's kind of going to give me a lot of room to work with in terms of money by saving money or buying low on Hutchinson and Kobe White, getting Levine at 8,400, and then LaMarcus at 65. And like I said, if you throw Bullock in there too, you have 3 spots to pay up for. So
really appreciate that, Nate. Really appreciate that comment. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading through these questions. He didn't say I'm trash. He said the exact opposite. So
he said I'm trash.
He said you're trash. Yeah.
That's what it was.
All right, so I'm going to start going up through questions here. Gordon or Aldridge? Aldridge. Gordon for GPPs, I'd say. Again, there should be a lot of pivot options for Aldridge because, like I said, bad matchup. I'm not a huge fan. I think Aldridge should have a good game, but I don't think he's going to have a ceiling game.
I want to answer one quick question real quick that I just saw. Spend down for center, McGee or Dwight Howard. I'd go Dwight Howard.
Fade LeBron. I think that's a question. Depends on your build, to be honest. I'd have to see your build because I don't think fading LeBron is necessary. I don't think you should fade LeBron through if you're asking me if I'd fade him in GPPs, the answer is no. Hart, Danny Green, or Michael Carter Williams need 2 for GPP. Okay. If I had to pick out of those, Michael Carter Williams and probably, that's tough. Actually, and probably Danny Green. I don't know. Well, they're all good. They're all shooters and good spots. So, I don't know. What's your thought on that? Hart, Danny Green, or Michael Carter Williams? 2 of those 3.
I feel like Hart's going to be more aggressive, but I think I'd go Danny Green over him, and then I would take Michael Carter Williams.
Yeah, I think I can agree. I'm trying to read through your questions, guys. Aaron Gordon for GPP question. Yes, we mentioned he's not a bad GPP option.
Yeah, I like him as a sneaky. I think he's going to come in very low on, so I'm definitely going to be overweight on him.
Danny Green or Luke Cornett? I feel like that's a very random comparison. I like Luke.
Yeah, I'd go Luke Cornett.
Yeah. There's a lot of value on that Bulls team. Yeah, I can't say Giannis, right? I know. Get over it, guys.
Someone roasting you?
LaMarcus Aldridge for we won't talk about it. LaMarcus Aldridge for GPP depends on how many contests or how many different lineups you're running. If you're running single entry, I'm not against it. Again, I don't know how my stance is going to be. I'm gonna go ahead and crunch numbers here after I get off stream and see what I'm going to do with Aldridge because he's definitely a confusing player right now for GPPs. I wouldn't recommend him as a GPP play. I'm not going to say he's going to go under or he's going to go overlooked because he's 38% of the field. So I'm going to say no for GPPs right now. I think there's a lot of options at that power forward center position, obviously. Cash locks, ready. Went over that. Dame or Westbrook? Good question. I'm going to go Dame.
Yeah, that's tough. I'd probably go Dame.
Yeah, that is tough, though. I'm going to have both of them. I think I'm slightly overweight here on Dame. Ingram, yeah. TJ, are you going to get Ingram in your cash lineup?
I'm trying so hard, but...
I knew that was going through your head.
Because, and that's... Because, like I said, I want to pay up for AD and LeBron. I think I want to pair them both tonight against Houston. I think you need Aldridge, and I think you need Levine. I think they're going to be 2 of the shockier plays in terms of cash. So, it doesn't really leave you with a lot of options, even if you have Kobe White, Bullock, and Hutchinson. So, Yeah, it's tough. If I want Ingram, I have to get off of AD or LeBron, and I don't know if I want to do that. So I really like Ingram tonight, though. I think he's in a really good spot. So I definitely don't hate if you land on him, but I just don't know if I'll be able to. I feel like if I had to get off one of the guys, I think I'd want to get off Aldridge, honestly, but I think he's the chalkiest play. So we'll see what my brain does in the next 15, 20 minutes if any more news breaks.
Danny Green pivot to Hutchinson value. I think it should be the opposite. If you're going, you should always start with Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson's the most obvious play on the slate for value and just a building block in general. If you're going to pivot anybody, I wouldn't pivot Hutchinson. I think you got to start with Hutchinson, guys. I think he's going to be the most popular play, but he's also the most obvious one, just like Culver last night, right? Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, Culver's trash, dude. I don't want to talk about it.
Fournier and GPP, yeah, I said Fournier is always a viable GPP option as long as he's under 6K. He's averaging around 1 fantasy point per minute, and he comes out to a 5.7 on our sheet here, and not a bad matchup against the Knicks. So if they go over 105, yeah, he could be very intriguing for sure. I don't hate Fournier for GPPs for sure. All right, I'm gonna scroll down and see if we got any more questions here. What does chalky mean? We've never gotten that question. So for the new guys in here, chalky means that he is going to be very high owned. A lot of people are looking at the same player. So that's what chalk means. Sorry. We use a lot of terms in here that are for advanced players. So I do apologize if some of those terms go right over your head.
Devo, when you said, it's possible to get all four, what four are you talking about?
LaVine, Middleton, Aaron Gordon, or Giannis. LaVine, Middleton, Gordon, or Giannis, Fournier, Thad. LaVine, Middleton, Gordon. For cash, ooh, that's tough. I'd probably go to the one with Giannis, Fournier, Thad. That's tough, though. That's very tough. Both of those are good combinations. Favorite Chicago players for cash. Okay, let's talk about that.
Hutchinson.
Yeah, Hutchinson. You got to start with Hutchinson. For cash,
I'd say Hutchinson, Kobe White, and LaVine.
Yep.
I like all three.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, stealing my thunder.
Fine, but I don't think I'm going to have I don't think I'm going to have them in cash. But I think that the three are Hutchinson, Kobe White, and LaVine.
Yeah, no problem. I know there's a mixed bag of people in here, advanced players and both rookies. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, Devo. I know. That's the line that I was thinking. You can get those four guys, Aldridge, LaVine, AD, and Braun tonight in cash, but you got to spend down on some other guys too, so it might get ugly.
DiVincenzo or Rando? I don't know who Rando is. I'm thinking you're saying Rondo. I think that's tough because DiVincenzo is not a bad play. Narrative, if you're going with GPPs, go Rondo. Rondo, literally, that's a real thing, guys. That's the one narrative I believe in. I'm not huge on narratives, but Rondo literally has the best statistical performances of his career on primetime games. It's just a known fact. It's just weird. Even with low minutes, like the guy just balls out.
Primetime Rondo's a beast.
Any love for Patty Mills? No, not tonight. I have to look at his price tag again. Let me just double check. No, I'm usually not on these. Well, he's 3-point now. I still am. The thing with the thing with the Spurs, and you guys know this, everybody knows this. Pop rides a hot hand. So like if Mills gets hot, he could play 28 minutes. But you just never know with these players. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I like Patty Mills. Like obviously, if the game gets going, he gets hot. I'm gonna say I like Patty Mills, but not right now. Not before that game.
A lot of people are asking about Bulls exposure and how many Bulls are too many Bulls. I think these Bulls are all really good plays tonight in terms of cash. I personally really like Hutchinson, Kobe White, and LaVine. I think Luke Cornett is cash viable if you land on him at 3,900. I don't hate Thad Young at 5,500. I don't hate Satoransky at 5,400.
Right.
So I think you can have four. If you really want to, but for me personally, I think I'm going to have Hutchinson, Kobe White, and LaVine, and then that's what I'll have for Bulls. But like I said, those other three guys that I mentioned, they're all pretty good plays in this up-paced game against the Pelicans. So if you do have four, I don't think you're doing it wrong.
There's a question up here, Matt. lineup that you post at the end of the stream is a design for GPPs. If you're talking about the lineup on my screen, I don't post this lineup. These are just lineups that are automatically generated, guys. If you're copying these lineups down, these are not built by me. I don't build these lineups. This is Roto with my exposures. So, I mean, some of these might end up being my GPP plays or my GPP lineups, but don't take these. Like, these are not my recommendations. TJ does post a cash lineup to our website if you guys are interested at dailygrindfantasy.com. Again, a full cash lineup designed for cash only. Do not play them unless you want to get fancy in some very low GPPs, some not as high GPPs. But yeah, it's designed for cash, the lineup that's posted to our website. 2 minutes left on the stream, guys. We're going to go ahead and get off, so we're going to answer some last-minute questions here.
Remember, it was all in on Min last night. Yeah, I mean, if I could do it all over again, I'd do the same thing with Minnesota. I'd be all in on them again. It's just, you got to play the numbers, man. Unfortunately, it's not going to always work out. Like, I didn't expect Cat to run out and just be an absolute bum. Yeah, it's going to happen. Kobe was good, and I mean, Wiggins was incredible in the fourth quarter, so it is what it is.
I also want to mention, too, Denver, if Denver's news got their injury news came out before the slate started, but listen, they didn't even do good. They didn't even do well, or like some of those players, except for Jokic, obviously. Some of those players, those 32-minute players that are at the bottom of the barrel price tag, I would have been all in on, and they didn't even do well. So, guys, I'm going to go with the stats no matter what. Like, I'm not going to take back my picks and say they were bad picks. We're going to give you the most, we're going to give you the best picks that are, you know, the best statistically. Like, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, well, last night we shouldn't have done Minnesota. You should have done Minnesota last night. All the stats point to it. So, I'm not going to retract anything that I've said, obviously, on stream here.
ZD Clan, Favors or Murray for tiers? I'd go Favors. Matt?
Murray or Favors? Ooh, yeah. Who'd you say, Favors?
I'd go Favors. So
yeah, I'd go Favors. GPP locks. Never GPP locks unless you're talking about Booker last night, who almost hit value and then got me really, really mad when I had 30% of them. Let's see. GPP locks. I'll say good GPP plays because we haven't been over them. Simmons is a good GPP option. Brandon Ingram is another good GPP option. Very low owned. Trevor Ariza, also another good one. I will stop there. James Harden. Yep. 8%. That's crazy to me. James Harden, that's crazy. 9%. You'll never see him that low. That is crazy. I'll have some exposure to James Harden for sure.
All right, 701.
Yep, you're right. I was just looking at it. All right, guys. If this is your first time to the stream, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Again, hit that notification bell for my videos. I post really early in the morning. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to make it a known thing to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, put out an early video so you guys have all day to go over all of our favorite plays, okay? Again, if you haven't been in the Discord, we have the Discord link below in the description. Patreon link, all that good stuff is in the description. With all that being said, TJ, any last words?